What's that, bro? Oh God, you must be on you must be on something. You gotta be on something to say it like that. Do I have a link to that? Hell. I was already, I thought I was. Did you send me the login info? Or do I have it? Because it's Google Business, right? Or respect the talk, respect the talk. Are you sure? Because I don't think so. It's got to be a respect the talk, respect the talk. 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 I mean, I can go to my Google page to what am I saying? In my emails, I can go there from there, but that's not what you're talking about. Because that's Google emails. That's not anything to do with. Respect the talk, respect the talk. 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 Oh, by the way, yeah, she still got the drones. I got to get with her tomorrow and talk to her about it. She wants me to call her later, but I'm not going to. I'll call her tomorrow and deal with that because I'm not in the mood today.
Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from Pride and Glory Travel Cruise
Had some
Planner,
more white
and
lady
I'm here
pull
to
up
tell
in
you
front
about
of
our
me
Where
on
to
the
Next
south.
2026 vacation calendar. Starting off with May 2nd on Freedom
Hey,
of the
man.
Seas, Royal Caribbean, going out for 5
The
days.
mic's on.
Then we're doing our land and air vacation. You asked for it. Here we're going out to Vegas in 6 days over in Hawaii and just having a blast. And this kicks off on June 17th. Then another one you asked for, we head back out to Alaska again on July 26th on the beautiful ship Celebrity Edge. Then in October, another trip you asked for. We headed over to Aruba and Carousel. This is going out October 17th on Allure of the Seas. And then our biggest trip of the year is on Allure of the Seas, November 29th, which is our hog biker cruise. You don't need to be a hog or biker to attend. Just come have some fun. We having our leather and lace karaoke party. We having a pool get together. And you got entertainment by me, Jerry B, and my younger brother, Timmy B, doing the show for you guys. So grab your pencil and paper, call Jerry at 920-265-8143, or Pam at 401-368-3275, or John, 703-346-8352.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? We're back with another episode of Respect the Talk. Respect the talk. Respect the talk. Make you want to get up and dance, huh? Hey, we got my nephew back in the house with us today, you guys. Say what's up, boo.
Hey.
Hey, we're glad to be out here with you guys. I tell you, how you been, man?
Been good, man. I've been good. It's been another busy week at work, so it was all good busy.
No, that's a good thing, man. Yeah, I've been stressing, as you can tell by my hair. It's all gray and stuff, you know what I mean? Every time I wake up, I get it come in the morning, I look at TV and I get more grays growing in. I'm like, what? They said, what? Are you kidding me? They said, what now? I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? What did they just say? It can't be. It's just, oh my God, it gets so funny that, you know, when you wake up, I'm telling you, man, I'm like, you know, but anyway, man, it's just, you know, I'm feeling blessed though every day, man. I'm feeling blessed though.
I got to look at it, man. Above 6 feet, better than being carried by 6.
That's true. That's true. Other than some days I wonder, you know, I mean, it's just, it's like, you know, at my age, you start like, okay, I'm ready to get the heck about this crazy world, you know, it's like enough is enough. I had my fun, time to go home now, you know, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been
I ain't
one.
hit that point yet, but
No, hell no, you're too young for that.
yeah.
You got a lot
I
of
still
life to
got a
live.
little bit of fight in me.
You got a lot of life to live. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but you got a lot of life to live.
Yeah.
You know, and
But I still got some fight in me.
Huh?
Still got some fight in me.
Yeah, well, you're gonna need it. If you need my gats, come get them, man. You know, when I leave this world, you can have them all. I was set up for a war down here with people. When this white guy told me we didn't start another civil war, I went to the store and bought more guns. I'm like, they losing their mind down there in Florida. Shit, I ain't gonna be left without. Oh my God. Hey guys, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Respect the Talk. Before we get started, let's make sure you hit the like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share the show with somebody who enjoys real conversation. Also, drop your thoughts into the comments because we read them and sometimes feature them right here on the show. Okay, tonight we got a lot to get into, you know, from culture to politics to the way things change over time. So, James, let's get into it right now, my friend.
Absolutely. Just like you said, what's going on, everybody? Tonight, we're going to be talking about how things change over time, and that includes culture, politics, and even the people we follow, and how they can shift and change in ways that we never expected. We're also going to be talking about things like fashion, shoes, just the whole gamut, and how they can go from popular to unpopular and then back to popular again decades later. We're going to be talking about people throughout history who had what we call the it factor, meaning that they had the power to influence And some of them for good, some of them for bad. So we're going to be talking about some of those.
Yes, sir.
And we're also going to be talking about the cost of human cost of war. And like you mentioned before, we do read the comments. So tonight we're going to read a few of those comments of listeners and break down the Save America Act, whatever that thing is, and why it's suddenly being talked about in Washington. So we got a lot to unpack tonight. So let's get to it, man.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.
Respect the talk. Respect the talk. Respect the talk.
All right, we're back here, folks, and I hope you got your red Solo cup or any kind of cup you got with your drink of choice inside of it, because that's what we do. You see us, me and James, we ready to rock and roll, wet our whistles. There was a song called Wet My Whistle back in the day. I don't know if you remember that. You're too young for that, both of you guys. So, huh?
Yeah, was that Zap?
No, I don't know who that was. I can't remember, but it was called Wet My Whistle. It was a dance song, yeah. But hey, and I said something a little while ago about gats. I don't even know if they use that terminology anymore, do they?
No, it's been like we said, a whole lot of things have changed over time.
Yeah, I know.
Gat, I grew up hearing all of them: gats, swords. Everything was a 9, no matter what kind of gun it was.
Right. Get my 9. It's like, yeah, it's like going to get my gat. People probably like, what is he talking about, gat? It's like, but hey, that's leading us into this topic, because how things change over time, just like that does. Because a lot of them young people are like, what the heck is a gat? What is that old fool talking about? But anyway, growing up, Converse gym shoes were shoes everybody wanted to wear. At that time, Converse were considered cool, and it was what a lot of people wore in school and while playing sports. Then Nike entered the market and completely changed sneaker industry forever, especially with basketball shoes and athletic endorsements. After Nike became dominant, Converse suddenly started to be viewed as the shoe people wore when they could not afford the newer brands. Fast forward several decades, and now Converse has become trendy again and is considered fashion, especially among younger people. This shows how fashion trends often move in circles instead of disappearing completely. Other shoes from earlier generations in the 1800s, 1900s, whatever crap it is, I don't know. Anyway, other shoes and other shoes in 1960 Pro Kids. Kids were also extremely popular shoes that many people wore regularly. I remember Pro Kids myself, and I remember Kids. At that time, those shoes were considered normal, everyday footwear. But today, they are seen as vintage or retro styles. When people live long enough, they start to notice that trend repeats themselves in every way over time. The older we get, the more changes we witness in culture, technology, music, fashion, and social attitudes. Many people also realize that the older they get, the less comfortable they become with change. This is where the saying stuck in their ways often comes from. People sometimes do not fully understand the phrase until they reach that same stage of life themselves. Before I go any further, James, let's talk about that real quick. Because I know you're young, and I mean, we're probably got, 20 years apart from each other?
Not quite.
Close. What do you
Not
mean?
quite.
What are you, 40, 48?
What?
What are you, 50?
57, dude.
Are you 57? God
I'm
damn, man.
57.
My brother started off young. God damn, I talk to him. God damn, bro. What is that? Man, you was in the tree getting your groove on. God damn. Anyway.
I'm gonna make sure if he's not watching, I'm gonna make sure that he sees this part.
Yeah. Miss Shirley sitting in a tree, KISSING. Yeah, I tell you, I'm gonna tell them all, man.
Just heard it the other day, but you know that their theme song for a little while was Jimmy Mack.
Oh, really? Jimmy
Yeah.
Mack, when are you coming back? Shirley was singing that every time she Jimmy, oh Jimmy, man, when are you coming back? And James at his house singing "Wet My Whistle." Man, hey, let's get back into the trends of time, man, because they gonna shoot both of us if they watching this show, man. But these are things that change over time. I've seen so many people wearing Converse now, and I'm sure you have too now. They got the short ones now, and right now the shorter ones are the cool. They you see so many of those is like going crazy. Everybody loved those things, and they were just. I'm like, wow, okay, they're back. And, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. For me, even growing up, um, well, first shout out to the inventor of the Converse. He was a basketball coach, and he would give kids shoes, and those were the shoes that he would give them when they couldn't afford shoes of their own.
right? Yeah,
So
that's cool.
shout out to him first and
That's
foremost.
cool. Okay.
But yeah, when I was growing up, Converse was a big thing. Everybody wanted the high top Converse gym shoes.
Yeah.
You know, the the black ones with the white bottom that just would glow in the dark until the first time you rubbed up against something, and then they turn yellow. Yeah, everybody wanted Converse.
Had no cushion
Uh,
in them.
no, none at all.
None. So I don't
They
know how they
they
were
were
good
they were
basketball shoes because
they were the epitome of what we would call the hot bottom shoes. Because if you ran at any kind of pace,
yeah,
your feet would be on
be on
fire.
fire because they had no cushion. It was just slim
No cushion,
bottoms.
no support, no nothing.
No nothing. It was just okay.
Yeah, they were literally canvas and rubber, and that was it. There
Yeah.
was no kind of padding, no kind of support, no nothing.
Yeah. Our producer is a collector of Chucks from himself, so they now have better Chucks. But you remember I don't know if you remember this because I keep thinking you're young, but you're not that young. But they used to have these shoes called Bucks back in the day. Uh, this one guy had them. They were Bucks. They were almost like high top, but they were like suede leather type ankle shoes, and they called them Bucks at that time. And
I,
I seen a guy with them on the other day, and I'm like, dude, he was an older guy, and he was wearing them. He's like, dude, those look like Bucks. Where'd you get those at? He said, oh, I got them at this one store here. But he remembered what I was talking about because he said, yeah, they just like Bucks back in the day. I was like, they still
oh, wow.
selling those things? He said, yeah, they just came back out with them. And I wear these every day. And I'm like, God, I tell you, the things just change.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, going back to the Converse, it wasn't that long ago that I seen a pair that were like they were women's, and they came all the way up over the thigh, so they were like thigh high
What?
Converse that
Wow.
laced all the way up like that, man. They actually look
Wow.
kind of sharp, but yeah, I
Wow.
mean, they were really popular and trendy, and then they just became like an outlier shoe that, you know, the punk rock type kids that wanted to downplay their entire wardrobe, that's
Right.
all
Yeah.
they wore. Then they were like a skater shoe, and
Yeah.
then they were like the cool vintage thing, and now they're coming back, like you said.
Well, yeah, it's crazy, man. Which I'm not hating on them, because hey, it is what it is. They look sharp now because they look back in the day. But like I said, they got them in a billion different colors now, and they come in all flavors. I think back when we were growing up, they only had black and white. That was it. They got
Yeah,
red, green, blue, aqua. Any color you can possibly imagine they got now in Converse, which is, it's the style now, and people are loving it. And the kids, let me put it this way, the kids are loving it. I've seen kids now. They had Converse. They had a sole on them that was probably like 2 inches thick. The height wise, and it's like, holy cow.
like an old platform shoe.
Yeah, like an old platform shoe. They got them. It just comes in all different ways, man. But like I said, I ain't hating on them. I should buy me a pair since that's all I can wear with this stupid leg of mine. Gym shoes. I should
Well,
buy me a pair
you
of
know what?
Converse.
I Hey, Mr. Producer, check to see. If I'm not mistaken, they were bought out by one of the major shoe brands, whether that was Nike or Adidas or It was one of the major brands that bought them out.
Yeah, I'll check on that.
Yeah. You know, when we were young, we often criticized older generations for resisting change, but many of us eventually reached that same point in life where we understood why they felt that way. And we do. I do now because I feel the same way. I look at these kids like they got these kulaks, right? They call them something else now. Skorts. They call them skorts now. Back in the day, growing up, they were called kulaks. They were the same damn thing. They were skirts with shorts underneath. But we called them kulaks back in the day, and today they call them skirts. They came back and just renamed the brand. Like somebody
Mm,
reinvented this, and they didn't reinvent it. The same thing they do with music. You sit there and listen to music sometimes these days, and Nike bought out Converse. It just says so.
okay. Okay.
Acquired the brand in 2003 for approximately $305 million. $5 million. Like it's a drop in the bucket, whatever. So anyway, but yeah, it's crazy. So now Nike's making money on both now. They're doing well,
Yeah.
I guess. Want to know if Michael get a
No,
portion of that. No, he only gets Nike. So Michael
yeah.
Jordan.
And there's another shoe that was really popular in the hip hop era. And I can't think. I just watched the special on it the other day.
Dude, do you
Um,
remember? I'm throwing something out at you now because I don't even know what they were called. But you remember when you know who Bobby Brown is, right? I'm sure.
mhm.
And who else is the Jodeci and them guys?
Yeah.
You remember those shoes they came out with? Those big hard shoes, they're black and clean, and they start wearing their or the boots that they had on. What do they call those boots that they all wore at the time? It was like they wore like army boots and crap with it. They were wide, their pants all shoved down into the boot. And you don't remember that?
Are you talking about Tim's?
Yeah, yeah,
Timberlands. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's still a big brand, man.
But then they had the other shoes. They were just regular shoes that Bobby Brown and them wore dancing around the stage. And I can't remember what they were. They hard ass shoes. I know that. But it was just crazy because they still pushing Timberlands around.
Oh, Timberlands are big, man. Still in forever.
Wow. I'm getting old.
Timberlands, and they every once in a while they throw a new style. Well, every year they throw a new style out there, but the traditional tan buck style Tims are
Yeah.
still where it's at.
They used to call. They say, a producer said they used to call them Jodeci boots because they wore them all the time on all their shows. Never tied them up. Their pants hanging down
Nobody
off
did.
their ass.
Yeah, nobody did. That was the thing.
Yeah, I know. Every group had those shoes, man. It's like, what the heck, man? It's like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is, and it's all good. But I'm not
And
hating
then
on.
I forget what brand it was, and they were a popular like hip hop trendy shoe. Um, God, help me out, Mr. Producer. Who was it that they were a really popular trendy shoe, hip hop, that eventually the downfall of them was that the story went that they were owned by the Klan and they were
Are,
tricked to get the black people.
are
Really?
you talking about either British Knights, Lugs?
It must have been the British Knight.
British Knight was the basketball shoe.
Hmm.
If that's what you're talking about, the basketball shoe.
Well, no wonder I don't never heard of them because I didn't play basketball.
No, they were they were really trendy, and their downfall, whether it was corporate espionage or whatever, but the company was started by two Jewish brothers in New York who just knew how to market, and they were marketing to all the drug dealers. They came out with this label, and they really
The
marketed
BKs,
heavily
yeah.
to hip hop stars and drug dealers. So if you had money, then that's what you wore. And then all of a sudden, Nike and Adidas and all of them companies were taking big hits because now they have real competition out there.
Right,
And
yeah.
so They put out some rumors, and these rumors took off, man, and destroyed this business. And
Was it the troop?
Troop, that's it. Troop, you're right.
I'll say I don't know anything about that, because hey, dude, see, just like I'm saying how things change, I still haven't changed. That's one thing I haven't changed when it came to that. I am stuck in my ways. I hate spending money on gym shoes. I hate spending money on shoes because I think my theory has always been I'm not spending that kind of money on a pair of shoes to walk out the door and put them in the dirt right away. Because that's exactly what you do with them. You put them on and you walk outside and you put them in the dirt. And I just spent $300 for this crap. And you lost your damn mind. I spent $300. They're gonna sit in my closet and look at it in a trophy case or something. Trying to
Yeah,
keep it clean.
that's like the Air Force Ones everybody had. You could only really wear Air Force Ones one or two times, and they get scuffed.
Yeah.
And Nelly again.
Yeah.
He was the one who said, once they get scuffed, they ruin your whole night. You're gonna throw them away.
Yeah.
Because once they scuff, they're useless.
They're useless, exactly. They're useless, So that's why I look for the cheap shoes to buy, and especially now because of my bad leg and I got to wear that brace inside. I just go through gym shoes like it's crazy on that right foot. My buddy told me, one of my friends said, "Hey, when you buy your shoes, buy one pair and then buy a bunch of rights, just the right shoe. So as they wear out, just change that shoe." I'm like, yes. Anyway, but. Hey man, that's crazy, man. Let's move on to something else, man.
Those are the Troop. Our producer is putting up the Troop gym shoes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was Nelly bought them, and he tried to bring them back, but they don't have the same style. So now they look retro, so they don't have the same appeal. So people aren't willing to spend
that kind of money on them. Yeah.
That kind of money, yeah. Back in the day, I think they wanted like $100 for a pair of
$40,
shoes,
man.
which in today's market is like a $500 pair of shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was insane back in the day. People were getting robbed left and right for wearing these shoes.
Yeah, man, I tell you, the times, just such as times. Dude, let's get off of this shoe conversation and the changing times because it's going to keep
off
changing.
the shoe thing. But like you said, people get stuck in their ways, and if people doubt that they get stuck in their ways, my own personal story is: do you remember New York Undercover?
Yes.
So when that came out, the main character, I forget his name. He rocked this style. That's why the bald head and the goatee.
The beard. Yeah.
That was the cool thing when I was in high school or coming out of high school, and it stuck.
And you kept it. Yeah, you just kept it.
And I kept it.
Well, there's a lot of people make those changes. I remember back in the day, way back in the day when football was in, and mostly all the players, especially the black ones, had bald heads. Then all of a sudden, some moron decided to wear dreadlocks in their head, and that took off. Now every one of them got dreadlocks, and it's like, wait a minute, you're playing football. Somebody can just grab the back of your hair and pull. It's like, why would you want to be on the field playing a sport that tough with hair hanging all out of your back of your head? It's just, I never understood that logic, but it's not for me to understand, I guess.
No, the dreadlock thing used to be a Jamaican Rastafarian thing, and now it's everybody everywhere is wearing them.
Yeah, everybody's got dreads, and they're not real, but that's just like women got these whatever stuff stitched in stuff, and nobody's wearing real hair anymore except for me and you don't have any.
Yeah. Well, my grandson's dreads are down to past his shoulders, and that's all real.
Oh, yeah. Well, my granddaughter's hair, but she's part Indian, is all the way down past her, and be hanging the ground. So you have to cut it off and donate it because it's so darn long. But she's part Indian, Oneida, so it just grows. But let's get on another topic here, because this is something that we're going to talk about: movie stars and where careers begin. Because this is something that always intrigued me, and I followed this guy for a lot of years. Okay, many major movie stars started their careers in places people might not expect. For example, the television show Rawhide featured a character named Rowdy. I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know if you ever watched that show, but Rowdy has always been, like I've always remembered that name, Rowdy. That was his name. So I'm like, oh, dude, that's cool as hell. And I've always liked him in the show. Now, this is an old Western. So, the actor who played Rowdy, people out there don't realize, was Clint Eastwood. That role helped launch his acting career. That was his first big major role in his acting. And after that show ended, Eastwood went on to star in a number of spaghetti western films, which became extremely popular. Now, let me stop there when we say spaghetti western, because a lot of people don't know what that means. Okay. Spaghetti westerns are when, if you're young, if you're old, you know what that means. But if you're young, you have no clue what that means. So, spaghetti westerns are westerns where, one, they're not talking at the same time, and the shooting was always pew, pew. It was just a weird sound when they shot somebody, or shot their guns. It was just weird. So that's pretty much, I think, where spaghetti westerns came from. But anyway,
Well, just to step in,
okay.
spaghetti westerns got their name because I asked my dad about this a long
Did
time
you?
ago
Did you?
and never
Okay.
forgot. Spaghetti westerns got that name because there weren't very many American studios that had the facilities or the backdrop for a western. So, and it was
Low
cheaper
budget. Low
to
budget. Yeah.
yeah, they were
Very low
low budget
budgets.
films. It was cheaper to record them over in Italy or Spain, one or the other. So they got their name as a spaghetti western because they came
Came
from the
from over
same
there
place.
seas. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, later, anyway, let's get to Clint Eastwood, because later in his career, he became famous for playing that tough police officer character in the Dirty Harry movies. I know you don't know about any of those because
Oh yeah, make my day.
this progression shows how one opportunity can lead to an entire career and timing and talents are right. It also demonstrates how public perception of an actor can evolve over time. Now, he did really well with those, if you remember that. Did you watch all the westerns that he did?
Oh yeah,
Good, the
good,
bad, the
bad, the
ugly,
ugly.
and a
That
fistful
was
of
that was
dollars. And
a great one. Yeah,
oh my God, the
yeah.
guy he did that guy came out of being rowdy in that one show Rawhide to being this major sensation out there to being an asshole today. Go figure how that all changed.
Hey, hey, it happens to a lot of them. Look at Mel Gibson.
Oh my God.
You
Hey,
know,
I like Mel. What do I mean, yeah, I
he,
know.
he was a ladies' heartthrob, and
Oh,
then all of a sudden he had his breakdown at a comedy show and became public enemy number one.
yeah. Well, that alcohol had a lot to do with that, if I'm not mistaken. They said, I don't know how real that is, but I think alcohol had a lot to do with that. Even though I've always said, yeah, we're not gonna let alcohol judge.
Being
And generally that's you say what's on your mind when you got alcohol in you.
exactly.
Because you got that all your inhibitions are gone. So you just say, I'm just say what the hell I want to say. So let's move on to another topic before we go to break here. We're gonna go into this is called the it factor, and I know you touched base on this because this something I thought about. Some individuals throughout history possess that what many people call the it factor. This means they have an unusual level of charisma, influence, and presence that draws people towards them. The important question is how those individuals choose to use that influence. Now, we're going to break down each one of these, me and you. Okay, I'm not going to run through this like that. We're going to break down each one of these because you probably got something to say about each one of these. Joseph Stalin ruled the Soviet Union as a dictator for decades. During his leadership, the country experienced rapid industrialization and military growth. However, his rule was also marked by mass repression, purges, and policies that contributed to the death of millions of people. This demonstrates how someone with immense influence can use it in destructive ways. Jump in.
Well, Stalin, in fact, he has his own. His style was so infamous that is its own type of governing system now, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
You
people
know,
talk about, you bring up Stalin and people are like, oh my God, it's the worst thing in the world. Don't call so, they get like
yeah,
weird about that.
yeah, for sure. I mean, he was he violated a lot of what we would consider normal human rights now, and it, it was egregious some of the things that he did.
Yeah,
But like you said, the Soviet Union, if I'm not mistaken, took off,
yeah.
and they became a superpower under his leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. They did. That's who he the one started that like that. And then you got guess who? Adolf Hitler, who rose to power in Germany and led the country during World War II. He promoted extreme nationalism and hatred that ultimately led to the Holocaust, during which millions of Jewish people and others were murdered. Hitler clearly possessed the ability to influence massive numbers of people, but he used that power to cause enormous destruction. Jump in here, bro. Come on. We're gonna do one by
And,
one.
and let me preface this by saying we're talking about the Hitler with
Yeah.
the
Yeah. With
funny
the
mustache
yep.
and not the extreme orange tan.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah, he again violated human rights. He led Germany into a state where he based everything off of strength, system of fear, better than, and separation. And those things work so well in conjunction that you had people who were next door neighbors and friendly and everything for years, turning on each
Each
other,
other,
trying
yeah.
to turn them in.
Yeah.
You know, um,
Sound familiar?
sound very familiar. That's why I said we're talking about the one with the funny
yeah.
mustache and not the extreme orange tan.
Yeah.
Um, he got people to feel like they were better than, over a religion, over,
Right.
um, it was just outrageous. And the scariest part about it is that based off of his own ideology, he was an outsider. He
Yeah.
should have been an outcast,
Yeah. Yeah.
because he promoted the Aryan race and openly talked about the Aryan race being blue-haired, blonde-eyed Germans.
Yeah.
So with his black hair and fair skin,
Yeah.
um, he was far from.
Yeah, but again, he's another one that had that it thing that used his power for the wrong reason instead of for the positive reason. And it is sad, because you got to go back, like I said, talking about history repeating itself, and that was like, what was that, World War II
Yeah.
with Germany? I mean, that was it's just you, you use those powers. And I never understood, that I understand there's a lot of people who are just followers. I get it. I don't happen to be one of them. I'm not even say I'm a leader, but I'm sure as hell not a follower. I follow one man, and that's my God. That's it. Everything else means nothing. So it just blows my mind. Let's move to the next example here, though. We're going to talk about positive example. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the most influential leaders of American civil rights movement. He promoted nonviolent protests and civil disobedience as a way to challenge segregation and discrimination. His leadership helped push the United States toward major civil rights reform. This demonstrates how the same type of charisma influence can be used to expand justice instead of destroying lives. He's a prime example of that. Jump in there, Jim.
Absolutely. And we have to address the elephant in the room, because in hindsight, history has marked him as a great leader who helped promote changes throughout history and is beloved by most.
Right.
However, during his time, as evident by his own assassination, um, he was not as welcome. His ideology was, um, ridiculed and fought tooth and nail
Oh my God,
by
absolutely. the
by a
Southerners.
majority of this country.
Yeah, but the Southerners down here in Florida, for example, Florida was I don't know if you noticed, Florida was the last state to be desegregated. They fought to stay racist, and that's why Florida is still in the state it is. That's why it is. People say it's a red state. Yeah, it is because they Florida, and people. Not that I'm leaving. I don't care. You guys aren't chasing me out of here. I love this state because I got some great friends here. But anyway, but Florida was the last state to be desegregated because they fought hard to not allow that here. It was just tough.
Yeah,
It was horrible.
yeah. Like I said, the message of Dr. King resonates with the majority of Americans now. However, during his time, the majority of the Americans were against him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So things have changed over time, and again, his it factor has evolved over time.
Right, exactly. It did evolve over time because now more and more people are starting to jump on board with that, with what his beliefs are. Now we're going to talk about a complex historical figure. Okay, Malcolm X, and this might be right up your alley, nephew. Malcolm X had a very different path than many other leaders. Okay, he experienced poverty, crime, and imprisonment early in his life. While in prison, he became involved in the Nation of Islam and eventually became one of the most powerful spokesmen. Later in life, his views evolved, and he began to focus more broadly on human rights and global justice. Many people see Malcolm X as controversial, but many others view him as a courageous advocate for Black empowerment and dignity. His life shows that people can grow and change dramatically over time. Now, before you jump in, people probably watching the Malcolm X movie. It was a movie, guys. It was a movie. Okay, don't just
Yeah,
it was a movie.
I'm not even going to say loosely, but it was a movie based on his life. But there was a lot of true factors in there.
Right. But they had to make it interesting. But I mean, yeah, I followed Malcolm X, a little bit growing up because I was of that age that I could actually know who knew who he was. I mean, I actually almost joined the Nation of Islam in Chicago because they were downtown on selling those bean pies and walking the streets. And they say, hey, little brother, that type of thing, and I thought they were cool as hell, so, but at the same token, it wasn't my thing, either, so, because that went on for a while through the 60s and early 70s, maybe. Did it go to the 60s, early 70s, mid 70s, that it started tapering off maybe mid 70s, but I mean, they're still popular, they're just not out there like they were. I mean, hell, they had restaurants and everything back in the day, man. You can go in there.
They still do.
They still do?
They
Yeah.
still do.
See, I didn't know that. Yeah. So
Under the leadership of Farrakhan, they are still very popular in a lot of more traditionally urban areas. So Chicago, Detroit, both have still very active chapters of the Nation of Islam. When I say popular and active, that's not to say that other areas don't, but those are two of the main hubs.
Well, New York too, isn't it? They are popular. New York too, big cities like that one because they were huge there also for a long time. Because they were there when the Black Panther was out there, doing their thing in California.
Yeah, one of my other uncles was a chef at I forget the name of the restaurant that he opened up in Chicago. But yeah, it's still very, very popular in some communities. So and there's still a branch of religion that is prominent here in America.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know beginning of his life, yeah, he did hate, white people. I mean, that's how he was. He was a racist black man. I mean,
It's a little bit deeper than that. If I remember correctly, he was mixed. His mom was white.
Right. Yeah.
But he saw her her life choices, and including her prostitution. I believe she was a prostitute, as something that he despised,
Right.
and that became a form of self-hatred later on.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and not till he went to prison and was introduced to people in the Nation of Islam that he began to any type of self-love, any type of healing.
But even the Nation of Islam was controversial at that time because of the standards that they had. Excuse me, was really kind of different than most. Which is why he broke away from them. Because of the things that they were doing that he finally opened his eyes and seen, but that was under different leadership. At that time. I can't remember the young man's name who was leading the Nation of Islam at that time. But
Elijah
Muhammad. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That his world was he was living a different world than most and doing things that he shouldn't have been doing. Period. I mean, it just isn't a cool thing to do. And this is not from the movie. You can look up the history of that. If you folks out there that want to actually read, you can watch the movie. It's a good movie though. So I mean, a lot of this stuff in that movie is real. But if you really want to do some research on it, you can really do the research and find out all these little details we're talking about. That it's out there. It's not any secret. Which it sucked. Which made him change. So then he became a change in life where he actually marched with Martin Luther King, if I'm not mistaken, for a little bit before he was killed. So
he didn't march with Dr. King.
They didn't see eye to eye.
They had different philosophies,
right?
On still Black empowerment. They still had different philosophies,
right? Martin Luther King was about peace and no nonviolent.
Exactly.
And Malcolm X was like, if you put your hands on me, we're going to fight. It's going to be a war, and let's go to war type of thing. But at the same token, he didn't want them to start the war. He just didn't want to allow them to treat him like crap.
Exactly. I mean? And the difference is turn the other cheek versus an eye for an eye.
Right. And Martin Luther King was, turn the other cheek, and Malcolm X was like, hey, eye for an eye, let's do this. Get down on it.
They had different philosophies to accomplish the same goal.
Right. So anyway, let's move on to break here. Take a break here, folks. I know we've been dropping a lot of knowledge off on you guys today, and sorry about that, but it's just been a good conversation. Something different that we promised you. So we'll be right back in 2 and 2. You guys stick around. Get you something to drink. You got time. See you in a minute.
Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from Pride and Glory Travel Cruise Planner, and I'm here to tell you about our Where To Next 2026 vacation calendar. Starting off with May 2nd on Freedom of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, going out for 5 days. Then we're doing our land and air vacation. You asked for it. Here we're going out to Vegas in 6 days over in Hawaii and just having a blast. And this kicks off on June 17th. Then another one you asked for, we head back out to Alaska again on July 26th on the beautiful ship Celebrity Edge. Then in October, another trip you asked for. We heading over to Aruba and Carousel. This is going out October 17th on Allure of the Seas. And then our biggest trip of the year is on Allure of the Seas, November 29th, which is our Hog Biker Cruise. You don't need to be a hog or biker to attend. Just come have some fun. We having our leather and lace karaoke party. We having a pool get together. And you got entertainment by me, Jerry B, and my younger brother, Timmy B, doing a show for you guys. So grab your pencil and paper, call Jerry at 920-265-8143, or Pam at 401-368-3275, or John, 703-346-8352. And as always, see you at sea.
All right, folks, we're back. Like I said, that was a quick break. My God, our breaks are like less than 2 minutes for sure. Because I know one commercial was about a minute, and then you got the 10-second thing in there. We got to figure out a way to do like 10-minute breaks.
Well, it gave me enough time to run and refill my cup, so I'm good.
I know, but you can't choke your chicken in that time. So you say, what is that? Huh?
is that coming from?
Well, you don't have time to go do
Me,
that.
me and Tori, we gonna have to talk later. You-
I'm a crazy person. You know me, bro. I mean, you know, I'm just, you know, whatever. My mom used to say that to my mom. My mom used to always say that. She's one of those people. Whatever comes up, comes out. You know, and that's, I guess I got that honest from her. Whatever comes up, goes out. You know, so but as long as my mind is going out, I'm sorry, it is what it is. You know, so I don't know. I don't know if you ever heard that. Whatever comes up, anyway, whatever, man. I'm old school, bro. I keep telling you, man. I'm old school. You know, so
Oh, okay. Hey, I ain't gonna argue with you.
you know, hey, I'm trying to eventually grow up. I'm still a Toys R Us kid. I'm an old school Toys R Us kid. Let me tell you. One of these days, I'm gonna add some rum to this darn drink. Anyway, let's move on to modern influences, folks. Okay, we're gonna talk about something like Oprah Winfrey. We all know who that is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, from Chi-Town. Well, she wasn't from Chi-Town, but that's where she, you know,
Yeah, wasn't she from originally Georgia?
yeah, she's from down south, you know, but then she was actually a weather person or something like that, and they thought she was, I don't know, anyway, whatever. That's a long story. That's a history lesson. I got to figure out about that too, because there's a history
Yeah.
behind that. She started out as a weather person, and they dogged her out or something. Because whatever. But anyway, Oprah Winfrey became one of the most influential figures in media when she recommended books on her show. This is how powerful she was. The books frequently became bestsellers. Her show also
Mhm.
helped launch or expand the careers of television personalities like Dr. Phil McGraw and Dr. Mehmet Oz, two assholes today that changed into who they are. If Oprah knew who they were today, she probably kept them off her show. I'm telling you right now, there ain't no way in the world she'd have had her on her show. And look what she did. Her audience
Mhm.
trust, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Her audience
So
trusted her opinion to
we can
such.
blame her for some of these things too,
I
huh?
know, right? If you want to blame, this is what you can blame Oprah for. If you want to blame her for something, this is what you can blame her for letting these two finally get known on your show. That other than that, nobody would have known nothing about them. Because all these people start following Dr. Phil, Dr. Mehmet Oz. And when all of a sudden they start getting into politics, I'm like, when did you get into politics? You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the? Your whole show changed. It's like, her audience trusted her opinion to such a degree that her recommendations could change consumer behaviors nationwide. We're talking about people and how they are still influential in our world, and she was one of them. You know, so we're back in influential. The people that got the it factor, we still stuck on that, folks. So now we're going to talk about somebody else. Here's Barack Obama. Entered national politics and quickly gained attention for his message of hope and change. Despite having relatively little time in the U.S. Senate, he built a powerful political movement that eventually carried him to the presidency. His communication skill and message connected with millions of people. And that's true. He did. You know, the guy, he could talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was with his vocabulary and how
He put
clearly
words.
he spoke and was quickly how he was able to I'm trying to think of the best way to put this because I don't have that same what comes up comes out that
Right, yeah.
you just put. um his ability to communicate put a lot of people at ease and um and which enabled them to hear the message that he was trying to put out there.
Right.
And was able to gain him the title of one of the good ones. You,
Yeah.
you and I both know what that means.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was one of the good ones because of his um, ability to speak.
Right.
So um, he did. You know, I sent you a clip today where someone was just talking about
You
Um,
did? I gotta look at it. I'm sorry about that.
some of some of his achievements, you know, um, he will go down in history as the creator or the sponsor of the ACA,
Right.
the Affordable Care
Right.
Act, but he had other accomplishments which um, are currently in the news again. You know, our current administration worked very hard to erase most of his accomplishments,
Yeah.
one of which um, has put us in the position that we're going to talk about a little bit later
In the
on,
next
the
segment.
war that we're in.
Yeah.
Um, one of his accomplishments that weren't as well publicized as the ACA was um, the treaty that put us in a position where um, Iran wasn't going to be able to develop
Nuclear
nuclear
weapons. Yeah.
grade weapons. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So he accomplished a lot
Yeah.
while he was in office. Um, a lot of things that were done with little to no fanfare, but there were a lot of accomplishments there.
Right. Right.
So again, somebody who used his it factor for good.
Yeah, correct, exactly. And people love to talk to him. I mean, he wasn't a bully. He was very intelligent, and he said what he meant, but meant what he said. So he and people understood that without bullying them into doing anything. So which we're going to talk about on the next guy who used it again. Your friend, the orange guy, you said, Donald Trump is one of the most polarizing political figures in modern American history. He has developed an extremely loyal following among supporters who viewed him as a disruptor, an outsider. At the same time, many critics strongly oppose his style of politics and leadership. His influence on American politics culture has been enormous, regardless of where someone stands politically. You know, uh, this guy here he rose to fame off of racism. And I wrote that today. I wrote that today in a post that's how he rose to fame. He rose to fame by first. It started way back when with the Central Park Five, and a lot of people don't want to know what that is, but he rose to fame in New York because he was so against these kids getting out for killing a white lady, which they were found innocent and they had nothing to do with, but he wanted to have them hung. But all his followers wanted to. They were standing right there with him. Hang him, hang him. Then Obama came in the picture, and then he sat there and rose to fame saying he was not born in the United States. And then he lied to all the supporters saying, and I'm sending people up. I put this on Facebook. And because you can look this up too. He lied to a bunch of people telling them, I'm sending a bunch of investigators over to Hawaii to look for his birth certificate and they'll prove to you that he's not legal or whatever. He never sent one person over there. But his followers said, Donald Trump's going to do it. They were all over there. Yeah, Donald Trump's sitting there. Wait till they get back here. Wait till they get back here and come back with it. They were all over there. They did shit up, and all of a sudden, nothing. So then all of a sudden, his followers had crickets. Again, he rose to fame on this racist crap that he did. And then now people want to say, when we say he's a racist, people want to say he's not racist. Why? Because he knows a black person? Or knows two, or Nicki Minaj got on stage and did something and shake her butt for him? Is that what? That makes him not a racist? I call BS on that one. Jump in there, Jim.
Absolutely. I've heard so many arguments. I've seen so many people post pictures, older pictures of, say, him and Don King, or him and Mike Tyson, or him and other black celebrities. Um, but it's kind of like that. I look at that as kind of like that gay person that's still in the closet, and
Yeah,
because they don't want everybody to know, they marry a woman and parade her around.
right.
Um,
I knew a guy like
AKA
that.
beard.
I knew a guy
Yeah,
like that.
AKA a beard. I that's all I see.
Yeah,
You know, his his actions say so much more.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like if you see a person that walks a dog down the street and gives them a treat, but then they take them home and they kick them and beat them and everything else and starve them, that doesn't make him an animal lover because he gave him a treat on a walk.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
Good point. Yeah.
it's horrific.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Absolutely.
the things that he's done to and against the black folks in as a whole. And I mean, it's the racism is there.
Yeah.
You know, you don't erase his history in realty, his
Right.
history as an employer. You don't erase his stance with the Central Park Five. You don't erase again the Barack Obama birth certificate, birtherism. You don't erase um, his
Trying to get rid of DEI just so, I mean,
yeah. You
just,
don't erase his policies. You don't
yeah.
erase none of that with a photo from 20 years ago with him standing there with Don King,
Right.
who
Exactly.
in his own and Don King himself was just a greedy person who used a system out there. He he was all about himself.
Right. Exactly.
Don King didn't do anything for anybody
But
other
Don, yeah,
than
he did for
himself.
Don King. He did for Don King. That's what he was all about.
Exactly. And again, that's who we have in the White House right now.
Yeah.
That's somebody who is definitely in it for himself.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know, we can go back to pretty much anything that he's done in the White House and say that, you know, it's for him.
Yeah.
His second run at the White House, you know, well, okay, let's do it this way. His first run at the White House was because his feelings were hurt because he was involved in a roast.
Right.
And everyone, including Barack Obama, roasted him.
Right. And he
You
hated
know,
that.
so that was his first run at the White House.
Don't
His
want
second
nobody.
run at the White House, we can honestly say that it was to try and keep him out of prison
Exactly.
because
Well,
he was facing felony counts that should have sent him to prison.
right. And he should have never became president with all those felony counts. One of them is a felon. One of them he did go to court and get classified as a felon. So if you can't vote, how you going to run for presidency? You know,
Exactly.
how you going to fly here to Florida to cast a ballot if you're a felon? Hell, most felons can't vote. So how in the hell can you vote? You know, just
Exactly.
who gave you a pass?
And again, that was to keep him out of prison. Most of his executive orders now had to do with getting people to stay on his side,
yeah,
including the January 6th
people, yeah,
the
insurrectionists.
right, including letting them out of prison.
Yeah.
That all had to do with making his base happy.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. So you got people
And
to fight
further
for him.
promoting the exactly. You know, further supporting the separation and I don't know the word I'm looking for, the ununity
Yeah.
of the nation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, his most of his policies that he's introduced, that including his first 5 orders, were to undo the things that President Obama had accomplished.
Well, yeah, because Obama lives in his head, and Obama knows it. That's why he laughs it off. He just thinks this guy is a joke, and he's just so upset because he can't get to Obama. He wants to get Obama upset, and he's just so obsessed with him, he just can't get to him. Nothing he does is going to get Obama to strike out.
Absolutely. You know, the Obamas and the Clintons live rent free in this man's head.
Yeah, yeah. Now and now Joe Biden, because that's all they keep bringing up. Biden and Obama.
Yeah,
Biden,
exactly.
It's always Biden and Obama's fault. Everything's. I don't care how many years it's just Joe Biden's and Obama's fault. Whatever. You know, it's crazy. Hey, let's move on to the next segment because we got this one is huge, man. The human cost of war. Many people focus primarily on the number of American lives lost in military conflict. Those losses are tragic and deserves to be recognized. However, war also results in a large number of civilian casualties, including women and children. Entire communities can be destroyed during military conflict. War often leaves long-term trauma for the people who survived it. One difficult question is whether military conflicts sometimes create more anger and extremists instead of reducing it. Another question is whether political leaders fully consider the long-term consequence of the decision they make. Here's the thing, because it's one of my things that really pisses me off. And then we're going to get to some listeners' things that we talked about on here in a little while. Every time we do this, we go to war. We go to war overseas. We're never blowing up anything over here. So the people here do not understand the true cost of war. You know, they see, okay, 7 American citizens, American servicemen died. Okay. They don't see the 163 children that died over there. They don't look at that. They don't look at all the people that's been displaced from homes and everything else over in those other countries. They're not looking at the big picture of this because they have nothing, they have no salt in the game. You know, they just like, okay, well, kill them all. And I posted this on Facebook today because most of these people out here that are for this war sat there and chanted about being pro-life. And it's like, you can't have it both ways. I said this on Facebook today. You can't have it both ways. If you're okay with the killing of these 163 kids and all these people over there, and then you upset because of abortion and call yourself a pro-lifer, you got issues. I'm sorry. Come on, jump on in here, bro.
There have been 2 times in American history that we've paid the price of war. And those 2 times were 9/11
Yeah.
and Pearl Harbor.
Right.
Both of those cases elevated the amount of people that were willing to enlist and go to war and risk their lives for this country.
Right.
And now flip that to another country. Flip that over to Iran and how many times they have been at war. How many times Americans have been directly or indirectly involved in a war that they were in? How many times have they paid the price of war? And how many people there are willing to sacrifice their lives for the things for that call?
Yeah.
So we are, in essence, creating our own. We are, in essence, the creators of ISIS.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are, in essence, the creators of the Taliban, because the things that we have done, the atrocities that we have committed in the name of war, and especially this one. Look at this one. This one wasn't even necessary.
No, I know.
And like I said last week, I believe it was, you have 8, 7, 6, 5-year-old kids over there that are witnessing their civilian parents dying.
Yeah.
Their civilian siblings dying.
Yep. And you think they're going to sit back and grow up and say, I love America? Really?
Exactly. Do you realize the type of sore that you are opening up to fester?
Yeah.
How easy is it then for someone to come along, their own version of a orange man with a tan, say, hey, we need to get back at them. Remember what they did to you?
Right. But I posted this again on Facebook because I said this is why Obama and Biden and Europe didn't want to go to war over here, because you're opening up a sardine can. You're basically peeling the cover off, and you're creating more issues for long-term goal. You're thinking of the short-term thing. Oh, we're going to bomb the hell out of them, and they think this is a joke. It's a game. We're going to bomb the hell out of them. Yeah, you can bomb the hell out of them, but you cannot change an ideology. You cannot change how they feel and what they're fighting for. They will fight you to the death, even if it's only one of them against 1,000 of you. They will continue to fight with bombs. Come over here and they'll blow up. They will find a way into this country and kill Americans just because of, guess what? What you did today. This is sickening. And people got to wake up and realize this did not have to happen. They called, I post again, I say I posted this because Barack Obama and them guys, they knew if they went into war, this is what it would cause for generations to come. So that's why they tried diplomacy. You don't do win by strength. You got all these old farts in here in Washington sitting up here rooting this crap on. But guess what? They're going to be dead when these guys come after our children. Donald Trump ain't going to be here. He don't give a crap. In 10, 15 years, he'd probably be dead and buried. He's not going to give a crap about our kids getting blown up by some Iranian that came over here because they still pissed about what we did. And I posted the history, and I don't know if you've seen this. We created Iran because in 1953, we went over there and overthrew their government. And that's what started them being pissed off at us, because it has started this whole nightmare of a history all the way up. They just want to go back 47 years from 73. They don't want to go back to 53 when we created this nightmare. Us, the United States, created this nightmare. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go on my page and read my post. It's a history thing there about 1953, what we did to overthrow Iran and put in who we wanted in there. And it pissed a lot of Iranians off over there. So then they felt that we were interfering in their livelihood and their life, and that government at that time was rude and killing them. And it was because of what we as a United States people did to them. So now in 73, they want to go back and say, well, in 73, no, we created this. We.
Exactly. You know, it's like you said, our short-term vision is so overpowering that we never look at history, you know. And here's the other side of that. Most Americans know that their original nationality is not from America. Unless you were a native Indian, your true heritage is not American.
Right.
But I'm sure that there's less than a 5% American population that speaks to, or in any way, shape, or form know who their family, who their heritage family is from their original country.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I can't imagine that there are too many Italians or Sicilians that can trace their roots back and actually go back to Italy or Sicily and visit family who know who they are.
Right.
However, you changed that over to many of the
Iranians and
exactly Middle Eastern folks who still honor and respect their elders and their heritage.
Yep. For generations.
They still have ties to exactly. They still have ties to people over there.
Yeah.
So how hard is it to say, you know, you lost your cousin that you were very close to all your life through an illegal war started by this government?
No.
Join our sleeper cell.
Right.
You know, we set ourselves up sometimes for failure.
Yeah, we do, and it's so sad, you know. And I argue about it because, like I tell people, and I told them before, I'm not fighting for me because I'm not going to have to deal with it. I'm fighting for my daughter and my grandkids and your daughters and your grandkids and their kids, because all you did was just create a whole lot more terrorists. Yeah, you're looking brave right now, talking about we're going to bomb the hell out of them. Yeah, we're going to bomb the hell out of them. But guess what? They're going to send somebody over here and all it takes is one person to bomb the hell out of us. Look at 9/11. You know, they took over, 3 planes, and bombed the hell out of us. It's just, it can happen. And we creating this shit to happen again and again and again, all for the sake of this one guy that we did not need to be in there. We did not need to be in there. It's a stupid war. It was dumb from day one. There was no direct threat on the United States and all the crap. And as much as he lies, I can't believe people even believe anything that comes out of his mouth. I'll never believe it, never understand it.
And he has no concern of the cost.
No, he don't care.
He doesn't. In fact, he's insulated himself from the cost.
Okay.
Because his son Barron is definitely of age for enlistment, for the draft.
Yeah.
Do
what England did. England sent their kids over there in the service, to fight in the war. Send your kids over there.
Exactly. We also have was it who was our president at the time? Roosevelt had all of his kids join the military.
Yeah.
What? Not one Trump, including himself, Mr. Bone Spurs, has ever served.
Right. And he called them suckers and losers. And it's just, I can't believe that people would believe this man cares about what's going on.
Exactly. He has no concern. He has no vested interest. So therefore, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. No, he doesn't care. Hey, folks, we got to get up out of here. We're 10 minutes late. We're going to read. We got some comments from last week, but or early this week. I'll read those next week. I promise. We'll cut our show down a little bit to make sure we get all our guests in. And we got another episode. We got to talk about another segment too that called with, as I say, the actor. We're going to save that also to next week because we don't want to go too much longer. So we'll just have our producer copy all of this and paste it into next week's show. And we will be back at you again, folks, with another great episode of Respect the Talk. I hope you guys had fun. On behalf of myself, nephew James Boo, thank you so much, man. It's always a blast. Take care, you folks. God bless.
Talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.
Respect the talk. Respect the talk. Respect the talk.
Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from Pride and Glory Travel Cruise Planner, and I'm here to tell you about our Where To Next 2026 vacation calendar. Starting off with May 2nd on Freedom of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, going out for 5 days. Then we're doing our land and air vacation. You asked for it. Here we're going out to Vegas in 6 days over in Hawaii and just having a blast. And this kicks off on June 17th. Then another one you asked for. We head back out to Alaska again on July 26th on the beautiful ship Celebrity Edge. Then in October, another trip you asked for. We heading over to Aruba and Carousel. This is going out October 17th on Allure of the Seas. And then our biggest trip of the year is on Allure of the Seas, November 29th, which is our hog biker cruise. You don't need to be a hog or biker to attend. Just come have some fun. We having our leather and lace karaoke party. We having a pool get together. And you got entertainment by me, Jerry B, and my younger brother, Timmy B, doing the show for you guys. So grab your pencil and paper, call Jerry at 920-265-8143, or Pam at 401-368-3275, or John, 703-346-8352. And as always, see you at sea.